Whoa, 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 stop. Get the camera. I think we've stumbled upon a rare, wild James Bubba Stewart Jr. on a Sonata. What's up, my dudes? Oh, James Stewie back on that Honda. I say back on that Honda. He's never even been on a Honda. So, yeah. Jimmy Crackhorn and I don't care. Just kidding. Nah, it's pretty cool to see James Stewart back riding at least, but I don't want people to get too hyped up over this because, I mean, this is very similar to whenever we saw him just riding around on that Yamaha. How long ago was that? Like a year ago or something? So, you know, to some of the people that think he's going to be like A1 ready, you might want to stop squirting the milk out of your tits because that's a little too out of the realm, I feel like. Let me just speak some truth to you right here, okay? It's going to take James Stewart at least a full year of pro racing. I'm talking a full year, never missing a race, running every single main event, to you even being able to remotely think about him being like he was in 2013 or 14. You know, it's going to take him a year minimum of racing every single race to even think about getting back to that. So the people that think he's just going to like come back and just smoke some ass, you know, right away, that whole theory needs to chill out because that's just not going to happen. He's just been out of it for too long, man. Now, do I think he could potentially? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's going to be hard for him to ever get back to like he was. That's just going to be a hard task to overcome and try to do and try to accomplish. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love James Stewart. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's able to do it. But, like, some things you just have to look at them in a realistic sense. You know, we haven't seen James Stewart on a bike in forever, so everyone kind of freaks out about it. But, like, dude, like, you got to realize, man, like, he hasn't been racing in a long time as far as actual, like, championship type scenario, main events, you know, that sort of thing. Like, yeah, I know he won the Red Bull Straight Rhythm or whatever a couple years back, and so he was actually, they've been having all this video footage of him riding on a Honda on his home track for the James Stewart Ride Day sort of thing. It's kind of been going crazy, and a lot of people speculated him being, you know, riding the Honda because Malcolm Stewart was on a black Honda, and so they had kind of been thinking that for a while, and those comments of people saying, dude, James Stewart, he already signed with Yamaha for 2018, bro. He signed for Yamaha, man. It's like, okay, dog, yeah, sure. You just can't believe anything at this point when it comes to James Stewart. Like, I mean, seriously, you can't believe anything. I mean, even though we're seeing him on a Honda, that don't even mean he's going to race at all next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, or ever again. That doesn't even mean that. I mean, good God, you know, people kind of, whoa, oh my gosh, James Stewart is coming back, woo, yeah. I mean, man, like I'm saying, it's going to take a full year minimum to even remotely be like thinking it's going to be 2013 and 14 James Stewart. That's just like, that's a fact. That's not even really like up for debate right there. I mean, it's going to take a year for him to do that. So, but yeah, the JS7, man, he's a legend. He's definitely caused quite the storm of online debate and things like that because there's like a whole slew of James Stewart fans that think he's going to come back and win, you know, 30 more championships. And you got the people that look at it a little bit more realistic. Like, man, I mean, it's just, you just don't get out of the game for that long and then all of a sudden come back. It's just the things they learn from racing and just the gap every year that changes, like how the racing changes every single year. I think that's what is going to be his biggest problem if he is even thinking about coming back. I don't even know if he's thinking about coming back, you know? It ain't like he's just like, hey, man, woo, we're coming back 2018. Yeah, dude, watch the fuck out. A1, we're in it, baby. Like, it ain't really his, you know, the way he's putting it off as. And I mean, even if he was putting it off as that, did you see what he did last year? This past year? He was basically saying that and I don't even really know if it was him or if it was just his team owner dudes, or I don't know, but whatever. You know, they were saying he was going to come back for this race and then come back for that race, and he basically never showed up for any of it. So that's kind of how that happened, but I don't know, man. I mean, I would love to see him get back out there. I do think he adds a whole different element to the racing, whether or not that's consistent or not. It's still, you know, it adds a cool, fun thing to watch on TV for sure. He adds the flair to it that's kind of been missing since he's been gone. When it's just like Dungey and Marvin Musquin out there, it's a different vibe when you're watching, you know, Supercross on TV. You know, when Stewart's out there, some crazy shit's about to go down. And it's almost like a double-edged sword for him, because he's proven that so many times that, like, you're not going to go faster than James Stewart. So it's almost like he can't just go out there and consistently work his way up because he's James Stewart. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's like fucking double-edged sword kind of jacking him up a little bit like that, because he feels as if he has to be James Stewart every time he's out there on the track, you know? So, but, I mean, if he's, you know, trying to come back and stuff, I shout out to him for, you know, thinking about coming back, but I just don't know how realistic and excited you can get about him coming back and being the old James Stewart. It's just, and I don't know how much he's just doing it for fun now. I have no idea. Maybe he just wanted to take a year off with the kid, and you can't blame him for that. You know, kind of like doing like what Villopoto did, but he might actually come back after all that. I mean, a lot of those dudes do, like, whether they get hurt or whether something goes on, like every 4 or 5 years, they get a little bit of a break. Like you hear Ricky Carmichael talk about, man, if I didn't have those injuries, I probably would have never came back in like 2005, 6. You know, when he came back and won those championships, he said he probably would have been done if he didn't get injured, because they get worn plumb out of it. And I know the wear out aspect just from playing a simulator. This shit ain't even real life, dude. And I understand the repetitiveness and the wear outness of doing multiple years of professional level racing. And I mean, it wears on you, dude. Like, I totally understand where they come from on that side of it. But what I was saying, though, is like every year the racing element changes. I mean, you look at how the racing was in 2005 versus 2010. Then you look at it from 2010 to 2014 when Villopoto left, and then how different that is to how it looks now. Even though I still feel like Villopoto, if he was as fast as he was back then, he could come out and still smoke him now. He just has a way of, like, man, that's going to be timeless. I'm telling you, Villopoto and even Stewart, in a lot of occasions, when they go back and look at that, it's going to look like they're the fastest. You know, the way Villopoto rode, and some occasions where Stewart rode, people are always going to look back on that and be like, damn, no matter how fast they are in the current day, like 2069, I mean, they're going to still look back and be like, whoa, those dudes are wicked, you know? So, yeah. But I don't know about James Stewart, man. I mean, they spotted him on a Honda. Everyone's kind of freaking out. We'll just have to wait and see. But, like, I could see you getting your hopes up like a year ago, but after everything that happened this past year, man, you got to chill out eventually. You know what I'm saying? You got to chill out on that eventually. Like, you just got to wait and see what happens. It's all you can do at this point. If you're a hardcore James Stewart fan, there's no reason in getting your hopes up, because, I mean, from these past few years, there's a good chance you're not going to see him out there racing every single race in the near future. I mean, he does not necessarily look A1 ready, or that he even cares to be A1 ready. That a lot of that is what it is. Seems a little bit missing. Is like his like want for it was missing. It seemed like the past few years, he would like crash and then just pull off the track, or he would just pull off the track for no reason. Or back in the day when I watched James Stewart, he never would have pulled off the track, dude. I mean, he'd wad that bike up and ride her through the finish line, bro. It's just almost like his want for the championship aspect sort of changed over the past few years. And if you're a James Stewart fan, you probably noticed that as well. I mean, it just changed. Like, it was just different for him. So that's something to it. And once that want is not quite there anymore, there's nothing you can do. You know, the want of it, I think, is 99% of it. Like, once they just start pulling off the track, and I know he did get knocked out, and I've been knocked out on a dirt bike before too, multiple times. Actually, that's probably the worst injuries I've had on a dirt bike, is being completely knocked out and waking up in a hospital a few times. But so I understand, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I've seen James Stewart wad up 5 times that hard and finish the race when he's really trying to go for a championship, you know. It's but yeah, man, the legend of Stewie. I hope he can do something with it. I mean, you saw what Reed did, and Reed's older than Stewart by 3 or 4 years, something like that. So it's possible. I'm just saying, you just got to be careful with what you dream of and expect. Your expectations need to be chilled out at this point for Stewart. But either way, nonetheless, it was awesome to see him riding. Haven't seen him in forever on anything. Not Instagram. He fell off the face of the earth, bro. But maybe he'll come back, you know. And even if he just comes back and chill rides, not even necessarily pro races, like just does some Instagram vids or, you know, interviews, or go ride on this track on a 125 or whatever the fuck, you know. I'll have fun. It'll be cool for everybody to watch that kind of, just to get him back in the game, you know, not be so far away from it. It'll be a warm welcome for him to come back. So yeah, man, it'd be cool to see. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.